Yo,
Yo, bro.
okay.
Okay. So what are we talking about today?
So today we want to run through execution. I think you and I have been talking a lot about execution. We realized that strategy and planning is one thing, but execution is critical, right? Execution is really critical. So maybe if I can share first a bit as well. When I think about execution, because ultimately, right, everyone, okay, thinking is important, but actually, the key part of execution, even once I read in a book as well, one entrepreneur was saying that you want to be really successful, right? You need to be able to execute fast and good. So we say what execution boils down to ultimately is speed of execution and the quality of execution.
I
Do
agree
you agree with that?
Yes, I completely agree with that.
That's all there is to it, right? Fundamentally, it's speed and it's quality. You can have fast and bad or good and slow, but ultimately you want fast and good, right? So how does somebody do fast and good? I mean, in whatever it is in a business, you got so many things to it, right? Creating a copy, doing writing, planning videos, whatever, anything. What is fast and good actually? Like, how do you define it if you can share your thoughts?
Uh, Pareto principle, doing the things that matters the most. So for those of you who don't know Pareto principle, I think being Pareto is it's doing 20% of work that generates you 80% results. Pareto believes that everything in life boils down to 20-80, right? And the remaining 80% of work only gives you the remaining 20% of the result.
You raised a good point there. In fact, I think I missed out another one. It's fast, good, and impact. You can do something really fast, doing something really well, but no impact. Or doing something really fast and good, but you have impact as well.
But the thing often, right, is it's not enough to just Pareto your way through it. If you Pareto your way through it, yeah, you do it 20%, get a shit ton of results. Yeah, arguably maybe not 80%, maybe
Yep.
70, maybe 60, but
Yep.
a magical number of 80%,
Yep.
right? So what about everything else? Are you saying you completely ignore the 20% just because it takes up more time?
You can do the rest, but ultimately, as long as you have your 20% impact, then slowly grow 30%, 40%, 50%. You slowly law of diminishing returns.
Yeah,
But you have to focus, of course, on the most impactful stuff
So were
first.
are you talking in the perspective of founders or are you talking in the perspective of a business?
Present startups.
Startups.
And startups
in
always,
general, right?
yeah, limited resources, right? No one's Nestle. So you have to do high impact work at speed and quality,
Yes.
right?
How do you do that actually? Because everyone is bounded to the same 24 hours. So you're talking labor, man hours, doing
I
things.
give you a simple example, right? I once read a article from Founders, right? The guy himself writes 10 blogs a day. I think, so when it comes down to execution, I realized one thing as well. Okay, firstly, right, when you say speed, right, you just got to bulldoze your way through lah. You cannot afford to take your sweet time and slowly analyze stuff. You got to kind of like just churn stuff out crazy fast. Do you agree with that?
Yes, but then today we live in a world where everyone's churning stuff out very fast. Then if there's a bunch of let's just go back to the topic of the blog, right? Everyone's writing a blog today. If someone's searching for the best mics in Malaysia, I mean, why would they read yours relative?
No, so here's the thing, and what I read also from this: is it better to have a lot of lower quality content or one super good quality content, right?
Super good quality content.
Depends, right? You cannot have a lot of really bad content, don't make sense. But I rather have a lot of different content. I give an example: YouTube videos, right? I watch YouTube video and people have said that okay, some people have said that, hey, some of my videos they hit really well. Whoa, get a lot of views, but some of them just don't get any views. So they say, you know what, just churn out content every day, and one will hit.
I think I agree with that because you don't know the algorithm behind YouTube.
Unless you're Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast just does one video and boom, make it super big.
But before he got it to that stage, he probably did a shit ton of videos as well.
Yeah.
You don't just hit your jackpot on your first try. You never have, pretty much never happens unless you're super lucky.
So you just have to constantly churn out content.
So the reason behind churning out crazy content, I get your point now, it's to increase the chances of you hitting the jackpot. A jackpot
Yeah.
that actually.
Yeah, and you can plan a lot, those planning may not increase the chance of hitting jackpot. Is that correct? Like you can plan for one super crazy one.
But I could change the argument.
Yeah.
Right? As someone who prefers to do quality content, I can change the argument and say, hey, you know what, scrap all that crappy content. I'm going to put in a lot of effort on this one, and hopefully this one works out. Would you say that that's irrelevant? So you can do something simple. Okay, writing 10 blogs, right? Go to copy AI, get all the blogs out, right? Get it done in 5 minutes. Or you could write it down yourself, write your personal experiences, write this, write that. Yes, out of the ones that or maybe you could argue also copy AI, you don't copy everything, you set the framework for copy AI and then you add on your thoughts to it. To make it hybrid AI plus human versus just human writing the whole thing, right? So in your case, you get arguably very good materials, okay, and I will have one. To me, I feel like there will be a very, very, very good material. I don't know how you put a number to it, but with that one very, very, very good material, with your 10 good materials.
I think that's the thing, right? So when I think ultimately is the right balance, right? I could spend 1 hour right now, let's say for example this video, right? You can get a whole week, get people do professional editing, make it super cool and all that. But talking about, I think where the balance is talking about your law of diminishing returns, right? What is the minimum effort you can do? So this video or this blog, my content is the same, but I can spend like another for half a day to go and make the super cool editing, make super extra lighting or whatever, but it doesn't add extra value to the content because ultimately the content was the content.
It kind of does, but it is a little bit
too small for the time constraint. Same thing for the blogs, right? If I wrote a blog copy, the base is there. Me spending another extra day probably adds a bit more, but would I do that a little bit more? Would I churn out another 10 different content?
We live in a day where everyone's churning out like lower level, lower quality content, and people are going to hyper focusing on specific topics. So at some point you really need to include your personal experiences inside the blogs. It's just going to be every other blog.
Oh no. Yeah. No, so that's fine. If you're talking about blogs perspective, sure, dump in a few personal. My point being is your content itself, it must be some quality. Yeah, I'm not saying have no quality. In fact, I'm saying is your law of diminishing returns, right? Yes. So you want to go for the magical range of like, can we say average quality? Because
but someone has to do the boring stuff also, right? Like for example, editing the videos, uploading it to YouTube.
Oh yeah, no, you cannot run away from that. That one you can't run away from that, right? So that's your quality side. Then so but if you're not saying having the super best quality, but having average quality, but at least you still got a quality there, right? Perfect example I can tell you about scenario on this is China. Okay, China makes a lot of products that are average quality, but their price is much lower. And so people are saying, I'm willing to accept this because this quality is still usable quality. My point is, it's still usable. So someone reading a blog, it's not there's no value. There is value and it's usable enough to help them. And now, because now instead of just one blog talking about one angle, I got 3 blogs with average quality but talking about 3 different angles. I instantly capture 3 times the market because I still can capture the market.
Can we switch the topic to talk a little bit about startups as well? How startups work today, strategy versus execution in startups. If you look at companies like Uber's been around in Malaysia since last time. And when Grab came into play, they just whooped in and just took the entire market, right? But what we say is that because fundamentally they were fundamentally the same. Ride hailing.
No, I think Grab and Uber, if you read their story, and I read briefly about it, right? Ultimately, Grab was just hyper localized, hyper focused, and they were able to outcompete in the market, right? Just through good marketing initiatives or better response time. I mean, that's what I realized. Even last time when I was using Grab and Uber was a bit more pricey. Grab was willing to offer more,
so price factor, user experience, obviously the investors will play as well.
Right? They get investors. No, they just competed directly with Uber. That's it, right?
No, they were both under SoftBank as well, right? So SoftBank told Uber to pull out from Malaysia.
I don't know about that. But all I know is Grab competed head on with Uber, right? And Grab was hyper focused.
On the exact same thing, right?
The exact same thing. And Grab was hyper focused, right? Hyper focused and.
So would you say that hyper focus to Uber was the 80% that gave you only 20% of results, but that's what made Grab win? Would you agree with that?
Sorry, I don't get the sentence.
Pareto principle, right? You're saying doing the things that matter only. Right?
Yeah.
So to Grab and to Uber, the things that matter here is probably the ride hailing experience, ordering rights and having a nice software, having your riders sign up, giving a commission scheme to your riders, maybe getting your riders as in the drivers, and then getting the customers safely from location A to location B.
Yes, yes.
Affordable rate cheaper than taxi. That's
Okay.
your Pareto principle. That's your 20% that gave you 80% results. But the remaining stuff, whatever you mentioned, hyperlocalization, competing on prices, different marketing campaigns that are local to Malaysia, right? All these kind of things is what you eventually got right wing that they executed well in this sense. But would you say that all this hyperlocalizing stuff, these are in a way they are not the core product, they are not the 20 that gives you 80%.
No. Ultimately, for me, 20% gives you 80% result. Ultimately, it doesn't matter what your core product is. 20% is doing small things that give you big impact. That's it. There's no magical way to define what is not.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, so you can be selling baby diapers today, but if I can do a marketing stunt unrelated to baby diapers, right, but gets you a huge press, huge views. Basically, if you do something that's very scalable and very impactful, right, is there a framework to define it, actually? Like how you define what's actions that you can do?
How do you manage? Yeah, I always like defining metrics, and we need to have. But I cannot give you an answer now because it depends on the context, right? What is the North Star metric that we want depending on the context? So right now, if we have an app, it's going to be the number of signups, number of daily active users, revenue, monthly recurring revenue, right? So every initiative that we have will have a North Star metric, and North Star metric meaning the only metric that matters, right? And for the metric that matters, we need to set what are the things we need to do to achieve those metrics.
I can give you a specific framework. Something high impact work, right, is something that is self-growing, self-scaling, and automated. I give you what I mean by that is you just need an initial seed, right? You need an initial seed, like initial spark, right? But high impact is something that causes a chain reaction. So we are talking about community a lot, right? You just need to start a community one time, and it self-grows, it self-scales by itself. The thing grows itself. Another one that is, okay, what's something that's not high impact? Doing customer calls, right? And that's why I hate the calls a lot. Because customer calls, it's you call one time, you put down the phone, and you're back at zero again, and you start again.
You're not building assets, basically.
No, not just building assets. It doesn't self-grow and self. So I put the word self-grow. You can scale a customer reach operation. You can have 10,000 staff, and you can scale. You can have 100,000 people doing calls. It's scale, but it doesn't self-scale and doesn't self-grow.
And you're introducing a lot of variables when you're 10,000 people. It depends on their mood. Maybe they were hungry that day. Maybe they forgot their scripts that day. Maybe they tried.
No, I mean variables. A community may have variables, right? Everything have variables, but fundamentally, are you able to start something, stop it, and let it do
That's why
its own?
it's your role as a founder of something to let that be as minimal variable as possible. Because just take the example of a community that's self-governing, self-sustaining, because the founders started it and then everyone just continued from there, right?
Yeah.
You look at for example, Toastmasters, right? They have a proper Toastmasters, for those who don't know, it's a place for people to practice public speaking.
Yeah.
That people join there, and do you see the founders of Toastmasters there? Probably not. Do you see the directors of it? Probably not, right? But Toastmasters is an international organization where everyone, who are interested in public speaking can join it for I think a couple $1,000 per year. Something like that. It's not a crazy figure, right? And the goal is to train people to be very good public speakers. They have like 10 exams where you have to sit through it and be very good at it. So the thing here is, if you started Toastmasters back in the days, go back in the days, and if you were the one who started it, right? You went in and you said, hey, I'm so passionate, my vision is to inspire people to learn public speaking, come join me, blah, blah, blah. Okay, organize events. The thing is, the moment you, the founder, goes away, your club would have died. What is that one thing that allowed Toastmaster to grow to the stage it is today? Frameworks.
Yeah.
Because look, we say, for example, let's go to whatever we're doing without frameworks. We started this community. We say, hey, Jack or someone, John, please help me run this community. John will help you run the community, right? Then John will introduce community members to run the community.
Yeah.
But if there is no framework in place, you just can't meet up and all that, there's no framework in place. At some point, once you leave, then probably people lose the motivation level. People don't know what's going on anymore. There's no system to follow. There's no metric to track the accountability. There's no committee members to do it. Then it just dies off.
Yeah,
so it's not just about launching something and throwing your vision out. It's about also setting a framework where all they gotta do is follow. If you can set that in place, right, then it's auto scaling, whatever you mentioned.
Self-scaling, self-growing.
Yeah.
And automate. Yeah, okay, no, you're right. Yeah, that's right. So exactly. I think having a framework to sort of like manage the way it self-grow and self-scales, right? Because when you say self-grow, self-scales, but grow into what? Grow into a beautiful flower or grow into like an ugly weed or whatever, right? So you need a framework in place. Agree on that. And then yes, it needs to self-grow, right? So Toastmasters, people go out there, find their own things, set their own groups.
Yeah.
Because they fundamentally
promote their own whatever you call it, your own
little coffee circle, your own Toastmaster group, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so that's on impact, fine, right? Now talking just one more time about speed and quality of execution, right? Is there a framework to that for speed and quality? If someone's doing something, how do you judge whether are they speed or are they quality? What's the framework for that, right? Someone did something, whatever it is.
I think at the end of the day, right, as business owners, we always have to say this: getting the results don't carry you, right?
Okay.
I have an objective, my key results, you hit it from here and carry it. That's what people always like to believe because it's the easiest way to go about this. But the thing is, so for example, if I say I want 1,000 viewers on website every single day, this person can do a lot of things. So my direction for this person is get me 1,000 users by end of next month, right? This person can either one by one call their friends to get 1,000 people. They could either launch an ad and target 1,000 people. They could either go to Instagram pages one by one to spam an ad, or they could go to one press and shout out to a million people, right? So what do they actually do to get the results? Actually, is secondary to what you want, right? So I would say, but then the thing is, we always need to also track what they do, because if they don't hit the goals, we need to understand what they did and try to help them with it. So I think that's what I wanted to share.
Sounds good. I think let's wrap up this session.
Okay, cool.